Barak Ginn Boozers will hope to put an end to their poor recent form against Vinnskor Defiant under their new head coach, Tony Tooth. The Boozers have won just once in their last 7 matches, a run that stretches back to the middle of last season. An opening day loss to White Peak Skullstorm saw the Dwarfs suffer multiple casualties. Defiant are in patchy form themselves, with no win in their last 4 games and 3 straight defeats in that sequence. Skrasnik Mazzoli's side have had the better of the Boozers in their previous meetings. The Dwarfs have never beaten Vinnskor Defiant. After an encouraging performance on his debut before he suffered a casualty, Jürgen Demon Feeder is expected to feature for Defiant after Mazzoli opted to treat his injury with Recuperate. So 2 previous meetings between these 2 teams, and this is a meeting of 2 teams who have both been managed by Tony Tooth. So Tooth managed Vinnskor Defiant in the 24-93 season, leading them to the Howitzer Cup final. And then managed White Peak Red Squigs last season, did Tooth. White Peak also getting a mention here, and then the Boozers get a mention here as well because they're playing. So it really is the Tony Tooth show. But yeah, 2 previous meetings in 24-93, it was a draw between these 2. I think it was 0-0. Last season, a 3-1 win for Vinnskor Defiant over the Boozers. And yeah, in the last 7 matches, the Boozers have just the 1 win, which was against the Black Crag Bozos. Alright, cap spend looks a bit like this. So I mentioned Demon Feeder there. He was one of the MVPs for Defiant last week. So the lineman has picked up Claws to go with Block and Juggernaut. Hankel Dribs was the other one to level, and he has picked up Sure Hands. As you can see, and as we mentioned, Recuperate has been used on Demon Feeder to make sure that he is fit for this game. And then we've had 1 Academy player developed, Marlo Brantozzi, the Academy thrower. He has had an armor bust cleared, the human thrower. Protect 5 insurance in effect for Defiant as well. This, of course, a double round where they face the Boozers and then they face Verdanos Valor in the Howitzer Cup. So Protect 5 will ensure Brickbrain, Spartan, Vermin von Clatterbones, Sutton Maxistus, and Jürgen Demon Feeder for both of those games. For the Boozers and Tony Tooth, San Miguel has picked up Guard. The Blodge Blitzer now has Guard, so very solid pickup there. And the Troll Slayer Super Skull has picked up Juggernaut. Other than that, we have put 3 cap into developing 3 separate Academy players, healing armor busts on all of them. We have Barrelborn, Greasehelm, and Slatebeard, who have all been developed. And then the remaining cap that we had has gone into the Gridiron Guild for future use. So the Boozers without a win against Defiant. And if you're wondering, it's me without a commentator this evening. Viking Cop is on a holiday. So you will have to make do with just me for this game. It is a replay cast, so we'll bring that video up now. And then we can get into it. So Defiant versus Boozers. Last game in the 2nd round of the Elite Division. Both of these teams losing their opening game of the season. Defiant losing 2-1 to the Tor Lithnell Rangers. And the Boozers going down 2-1 to White Peak Skullstorm. So there was a bit of talk ahead of this game that Tony Tooth and Skrasnik Mazzoli have actually met before the match, but no one has any idea what they talked about. I was told to mention that they did talk before the game, but I have no idea what they talked about. Let's take a look through the rosters then. This is the Boozers roster. San Miguel, as we mentioned, the blitzer with Lodge and guard. Super Skull, the Troll Slayer, has Mighty Blow, Tackle and Juggernaut. Then the two runners, Optimus Prime and Fenderil Swift Gleam, the latter of whom is actually an elf. You'll just have to believe us on that one. They've stuck a beard on him. And then former runner, now blitzer, Bella Cooler, also on the roster as well. Then some linemen. We have Wilhelm Warsteiner, Stein Stockminer, Martin Idri and Fraser Fosters. Hadrian Hawkstone is the other Troll Slayer, also with Juggernaut. And then two more linemen, Maxwell Mythos, who is a rookie, and Drogan Schnapsen, who has Brawler. So 3 guard now on the Boozers team. That is the limit on guard before it starts getting more expensive for the Dwarfs to take any more of that. So that'll be something for us to keep an eye on. For Defiant, 3 big guys who all blitz at strength 6. Brick Brain does so because he is a strength 6 ogre. Spartan, the Minotaur, has Juggernaut, and Vermin von Clatterbones has Horns and Break Tackle. Sutton Maxistus continues as the Dark Elf on the team, and the King Cleat-sponsored Ragless has Sneaky Git, and will presumably be stomping those King Cleats into someone at some point. Ditchface Mallory, Dustin Zwack, Hankel Dribs, and Little Skis Vandemort, all renegade human linemen, as is Jojo Balzari, who's also a rookie. Jurgen Demon Feeder is something of a new star for Defiant. He has been given claws this week, so expect to see plenty of blitzing from him. He's the de facto blitzer on the team. Dirk Zanders is another rookie and MVP nominee from last season. Modamanto Nostras has block and iron hard skin. So it looks like 13 players for Defiant, 2 on the bench for them, 1 on the bench for the Boozers. We have perfect conditions for this game. And inducement-wise, there is a couple of kegs in play for the Dwarfs. So any KOs should be a bit easier for them to recover. Should be. So we are still in edited replay mode. Hopefully that will be resolved soon so we can get back to normal replay mode, which does make life a lot easier because I can pause things when I want to, and I can't do that when I'm having to edit the replay. That is a very poor kick and a very officious referee who has stunned Hankel Dribs on the LOS. Ball in the hands of Optimus Prime. Straight away, going to be a blitz from Bella Cooler here. And we see the knockdown on Jojo Balzari. Cooler is going to try the dodge, and Cooler is going to snake that dodge. So that was a dodge with break tackle. It was a 2+. But a snake from Cooler, and the ball already looks extremely exposed. Very, very similar start to what we saw from the 3 Mountains in their game against White Peak Skullstorm. Although we might get away with it because Spartan on the Blitz has failed his Unchanneled Fury, and we have a bonehead from Brick Brain as well. Can we get the set with Vermin von Clatterbones? No, he will move over to base San Miguel. So the Boozers getting away with one there. As we see a push from Fraser Fosters. Knockdown here from Martin Idri on Ditchface Mallory. Armor break. First of the game and a KO. First removal of the game going the Boozers' way. Stockminer it is, taking the hit on Jurgen Demon Feeder, but not able to find a knockdown. See Hadrian Hawkstone making his way through. And it's Bellacoola with a 1 in 9. Thankfully, we have block and our opponent doesn't. And we do make that dodge away. That was the harder one. That was from Prehensile Tail. As Optimus Prime moves forward into scoring range. Another armor break. This one from Super Skull. And that is a stun on Dustin's whack. But the ball not looking hugely safe, is it? It seems pretty straightforward for Defiant to deal with this. It is going to be Jurgen Demon Feeder to come round the back and try and get the sack on the ball. Reroll used, and we do find the POW on Optimus Prime. Ball scatters into Demon Feeder's hands. He fails to catch it. Goes to Spartan, who also fails to catch it. Replay going mad here. And Raglis, the Goblin, with the magnet hands eventually. Defiant have possession of the ball already. Failed animal savagery from Vermin von Clatterbones means that he does lose his tackle zones, as we see a knockdown and a stun on Hankel Dribs. So, can the Boozers find a way to sack the ball? Optimus Prime should be able to return fire here and does take down another 1 in 9 there. We get the armor break and the stun on Raglis. Attempted dodge here from Prime. Last reroll and fails the second dodge. So the Boozers on turn 3 out of rerolls and still not with possession of the ball. No knockdown from Spartan there. Couldn't get through the blodge of San Miguel. That's a bit better from Jojo Balzari up against Hadrian Hawkstone. Pickup attempt also fails from Sutton Maxistus. This replay already proven to be a complete nightmare. We are going to see the pickup work on the reroll, and double POWs from Jurgen Demon Feeder takes down Bellacoola. Defiant continuing to have a go at San Miguel, but not able to bring down the Blitzer. So we'll see whether the Boozers can find a way to sack this ball again. Down goes Vermin von Clatterbones. And that is going to free up San Miguel to base the ball with guard. May well be Optimus Prime, who's once again given sacking duty. Doesn't get it done this time, though. No rerolls left. One die push from Super Skull into Modomanto Nostris, and we get the knockdown at the second time of asking. We also see an uphill on Brick Brain. Brave stuff from Maxwell Mythos, but it does free up Fraser Foster's to be a bit more relevant in the play. Also a one die here from the Elf, Swift Gleam, who goes down and does stun Spartan. So the Minotaur is stunned. Did Ironhard Skin save the rat? I think it might have done. Dodge from Raglis gives Jurgen Demon Feeder the chance to roll another double POW. The only player who can take down San Miguel by the looks of things. And we're going to see Maxistus make the dodge. And there's a handoff being declared here. Are we going to hand this off to Brickbrain? We are. The Ogre has the ball. And Brickbrain is running for the hills. Prime gets the knockdown on Demon Feeder, which does free up Bellacoola. to come downfield. Not sure if the Boozers will be able to get anyone on the ball here. Unless they're willing to make that dodge with the blocker. This is Hawkstone against Balzari. And pushes only from the Troll Slayer. Oh, foul appearance did a thing. On Hankel Dribs. There's a bit of a gap for Fraser Fosters to perhaps move through here. There is going to be a blitz from Fosters. Okay. Oh no, fails the rush and knocks himself out. Well, that was an attempt to free up the rookie Mythos so that Mythos could go and base the ball, but Brickbrain might be home and hosed here. No, he's going to bonehead at the worst possible moment. That might buy the Boozers the time they need. It was a bonehead from Brickbrain. No attempted reroll on that from Mazzoli. And the dodge from Maxistus at least provides a little bit of help. Another dodge here from Dribs. He was going to fail that. We're going to keep that reroll in hand. And hope that the Boozers can't get to us. Knockdown from Mythos will free up the strip ball of Bellacoola. Which will be a hell of an asset when we're trying to bring down strength 6. More pushes from Hawkstone against Balzari. It's turn 6 here, so the Boozers run out of time to get this ball and get it back down the field again. Here comes that blitz from Bellacoola. Can we get the sack? We can, thanks to strip ball. The ball is stripped to the ground. Looks like there'll be no recovery from the Dwarfs on this turn. There is a POW from San Miguel. And a knockout on Jurgen Demonfeeder, who once again finds himself on the sidelines. Excellent statistics from 40 as we see the blitz from Brickbrain on Bellacoola. The Ogre is not going to go for the pickup, but is away downfield. Maybe expecting a teammate to hand the ball off to him. Big hit from Spartan. And that's the serious injury on Hadrian Hawkstone. Troll Slayer down. Dodge from Maxistus means we do get the pickup. Are we going to hand this off to the Ogre again? No, Animosity is going to stop us. It's a 1 on the Animosity roll. Ball in the hand still of Maxistus. Going to be Super Skull then to try the sack. We'll need a rush and we're going to fail that rush. Another one goes wrong for the Boozers. And technically it was the misposition of the guard that caused that. Here comes Raglas for the foul on Super Skull. Nothing doing there. Brickbrain is still on the move and on his way to the end zone. As we see the hit come in from Von Clatterbones. Wonder if Defiant are setting up for a handoff into the end zone here. It looks like we are. Here goes Maxistus. The handoff is good. And Brickbrain scores for Vinnskor Defiant. It's Ogre Ball once again in the ZFL. And Defiant have the lead on the Boozers drive. Brickbrain, by the way, extremely competent at catching the ball. So, deep defence from Defiant, unlikely to be a one-turn from the Boozers. And indeed, Brickbrain seems to have been given LOS duty after that touchdown, which may not please him. Kick from Spartan is into midfield, and we have a got ref. Free bribe for each team, which I'm sure won't go to waste in this match. We are going for the one turn here, but that POW combined with the double skull from Martin Idri means we have absolutely no chance of getting that done. Defiant will lead 1-0 at half-time, but they will get a chance for an extra hit here. As long as we can make these rushes with Nostrus, we can. But Brickbrain refuses to get the job done. Half-time, Defiant lead by 1 touchdown to 0.
King Cleats, get him on your feet.
Jürgen Demon Feeder, it looks like, maybe the one who stayed out here for Defiant. Yeah, it is Demon Feeder who's out. Ditchface Mallory is back, so Demon Feeder having a strange season. When he's on the field, very, very effective, but is getting removed a bit too easily, perhaps, for Skrasnik Mazzoli's liking. So can the Boozers turn this around, or will it be yet another defeat for the Dwarfs? This, so far, has been a bit of a nightmare start to the 24-95 season for both of the Dwarf teams. The Three Mountains struggling, the Boozers not doing much better. I'm sure the second division would love a double relegation of Dwarf teams. Armor break from Brickbrain and a KO. That's going to draw the Apo on Drogan Schnapsen. The Rogue does appear to have been given the ball. I entirely missed that. I don't know if it was a bad kick again that ended in a touchback. But yeah, Vermin von Clatterbones does appear to have the ball, which could be a bit of a problem for the Boozers, trying to stop that. Here comes the foul from Raglis. And we have a stun, but nothing more. Blitz from Super Skull will bring down Dustin Zwack. Oh, and a casualty on the lineman. First casualty of the game for the Boozers. Serious injury for Dustin Zwack. That may keep him out of Defiant's Howitzer Cup game against Verdenus Valor. Attempted dodge from Foster's is going to fail. But perhaps better to be there than stood against a combination of Spartan and Brickbrain. Here goes Spartan, and that is a lot of skulls. Juggernaut saves the day on that one. And we do find the POW on the 6th dice. Oh, we're going to have to hit someone. We're hitting Brickbrain. Wow. No messing about from Von Clatterbones. The Ogre taken down a peg. being hit by his teammate. But the situation right now looking pretty good for Vinnskor Defiant. It'll be another foul from Raglis, who fails to break armor. There was no assists on that. So Stein Stockminer is okay as we see the knockdown on Ditchface Mallory. Super Skull finds a blitz and a knockdown on Vandermort. And that opens up a gap for the Dwarfs to base the ball. Nice one-die knockdown from Wilhelm Warsteiner. And there's a dodge from Optimus Prime to go and be part of this screen. Another dodge from Maxwell Mythos, but the rush doesn't work out. Did the hard bit, failed the easy bit. Blitz coming in from Spartan, trying to move Super Skull out the way, but it's only pushers that are actually going to put the Dwarf further into the way, unless the plan here is to surf. Von Clatterbones is going to take the POW and get the armor break. It's a stun for the time being. That's a turnover from Brickbrain, but manages to make the loner, and we get to re-roll that and take down Stockminer. Eventful game for the Strength 6 Ogre here. As we can see, a foul again from Raglis with that bribe in play. Stun turned into a stun. Sneaky Gate saving the day. So what can the Boozers do on defense here? They are going after Brickbrain with plenty of assists. Half the team are committed to the big ogre here, and that might leave them a bit outnumbered further back in the field. That's going to need a reroll from the elf. Second reroll on a block needed from Fender or Swiftclean. And a one-die skull. That's going to be the last reroll. And it's a double skull from Bella Cooler. The Boozers once again burning all of their rerolls in 3 turns. But once again, we see the animal savagery taking effect. It is a stun on Hankel Dribs, but Von Clatterbones is on the way forward. It wasn't Bella Cooler, it was Optimus Prime with that failure, as we see Unchanneled Fury not work out either for Defiant. That ball as it stands, not super safe. It's going to need a dodge from Raglis, but Raglis is going to make the foul. It's a stun on Skull, but there is a path in to hit the ball here. I mean, we're never going to get the dice we need, or maybe we are going to be able to find a 1-die. That will be a 1-die from Bella Cooler. No reroll, but we find the push. Ball will be sacked here. Question is, where is it going? On the floor and further towards the end zone. Probably a better result for Defiant than it is for the Boozers, as we see a failed dodge from Optimus Prime. Armor break there on the hit from Skis Vandermort. Chain push play here is going to push Von Clatterbones towards the sidelines. And there is an attempt not to scatter the ball. Now there's going to be a scatter attempt with the knockdown on Bella Cooler, and the ball scatters again right into the corner towards that end zone. There's a failed animal savagery. Von Clatterbones this time takes down Spartan. Makes the dodge, fails the pickup. And fails the pickup on the reroll as well. Ball still in the corner and on the floor. Can the Boozers find a way to recover this and get it downfield? They've got a little bit of time, but they're going to need to do it sooner rather than later. Knockdown from Swift Gleam. Elf versus Elf action here. And that is a knockdown as well from Warstein. Now there's going to be a blitz. Attempted blitz against Von Clatterbones, but Bellacoola finds a skull. Another turn gone for the Boozers, who don't really have anyone downfield at the moment. Defiant might be able to hang on to this win just through sheer pitch position. Surf attempt coming here from Spartan. That is San Miguel. Pushed into the crowd. And it is Rowdy Crowd, of course, in round 2 of the season. That is an 8. That will need a post-game roll for a casualty. Oh, and another one. Brickbrain with the casualty on Stockminer. Great performance from the Ogre today. Another turn gone. The ball still on the floor in the corner there. Going to be a double push from Cooler to put Von Clatterbones into the end zone. And then, are we going to try to pick up? We are going to try to pick up. We've got it. Look at this from Bella Cooler. Wow. All the way around the side. And the Boozers do have the ball, but for how long? That's Spartan taking down Swift Gleam. There's going to be a blitz from Norstrus to try and sack the ball. Does not get it done. It'll be Ragless to have another go, the Goblin, and he can't get it done either. So Bellacoola still with possession. Surrounded by 3 Defiant players once McSister stands up. And the problem for the Boozers is they are only going to have 2 turns to get this down the field after this one. I'm not sure they're going to have the movement to score. If anyone's going to go, it's going to have to be Optimus Prime pretty soon. But even from that sort of range, I'm not sure this is possible for the Boozers. Going to be a blitz on Ragless. That is going to chain push Cooler out. And Cooler makes the dodge. Boozers hanging onto the ball fairly well, but there is still no one in scoring position. And Prime does not look interested in doing that either. Is anyone going to be able to do it? There is nobody downfield. And the Boozers can't score. Big hit on Super Skull. There's probably... No, there's not going to be a surf here. It's going to be Dribs saving himself from a surf. With the armor break. And the stun. Thick Skull saving the day. Here comes a sack attempt from Nostrus, who rolls a push. So this one, by the looks of it, going to finish 1-0 to Vinnskor Defiant. Still time for one more foul from Ragless on the Elf. Swift Gleam. Referee has finally had enough of this. And that is a send-off for Ragless. There was a bribe in play, but opting not to use it. Knockdown taken there on the red dice to prevent the surf. There's going to be a blitz on McSistus from Warsteiner. And there's going to be a foul from Optimus Prime on the Dark Elf. But just a stunt. Can Bella Coola make a pass? Bella Coola is going to try and make a pass. And the ball goes over there. That's full time. Defiant end their losing streak. And send the Boozers into the relegation zone. So I think a scrappy, chaotic game would undersell that one. It was all over the place, that game, but that does not matter for Vinnskor Defiant, because the important thing is that the Renegades have picked up their first win of the season. And if you're a team that might be at risk of relegation in the Elite Division, we know that every point is crucial. Take a look at some of the stats from the game. More blocks done by the Boozers, but the Boozers did sustain more armor breaks. At 14 to Defiant's 10, so the armor dice massively in favour of Defiant. Plenty of fouls from Defiant as well. Although, actually, only 13 blitz actions taken. So Defiant opting out of their blitz on plenty of turns. Dodges were okay for both teams. Rushes were much, much worse for the Boozers than they were for Defiant. Handoffs 2 out of 2 made the difference. Brickbrain had a good game. And it's the Ogre's touchdown that made the difference. So a touchdown and a casualty for Brickbrain from that game. It was Raglas who got the actual MVP, so there'll be a level for Raglas potentially. There'll be a choice, of course, with it being a Howitzer Cup round, so it'll be Raglas and whoever gets the MVP from the Howitzer Cup game. Look at the number of skulls rolled by the Boozers. That's fascinating. It didn't feel like they rolled a whole load of double skulls in that game, but there was an awful lot of push skull, both down skull. That is a very, very high proportion of skulls rolled by the Boozers, who will reasonably feel that they had the worst end of the dice in that game. So, good win for Defiant. That moves them a little bit further up the league table, and that league table looks a little bit like this. So we're finally able to confirm exactly what the Elite Division looks like at the end of the second round of games, and it makes great reading for White Peak Skullstorm, who are top of the table, the only team to have won both of their opening games. Admittedly, they were against the two dwarf teams who reside in the relegation zone at the other end of the table. So perhaps the challenge for Skullstorm is still yet to come. Behind the leaders, the Quicks, the Celtics, the Falcons, and the Desperados are all on 4 points. The Enchanters, Defiant, and Rangers all on 3. And the Bozos in 9th, ahead of the Mavericks on touchdown. Not on touchdown difference. It is on casualties inflicted. And yeah, the bottom two right now are both of the dwarf teams. The Boozers in 11th, the Mountains in 12th. But there's a long way to go in this season. Of course, it is Howitzer Cup action next, with the Boozers facing the Deadrock Tyrants from the second division. So it might be a chance for the Boozers to get a first win of the season then. But it doesn't get any easier, particularly for the Dwarfs. Both of them face Imperial Nobility in round 3 of the season. The Boozers host the Espanol Enchanters, and the Mountains travel to Bilbali to face the Desperados in round 3.